If you're looking to purchase a home right now in the Kelowna real estate market or anywhere in British Columbia, what you have to consider has changed. It's about to change here on July 18th, but this is going to impact the home and resale side of the market, not only for current owners of landlords that are selling their properties, but it's also going to impact buyers that are looking in the real estate market. Right now in the real estate market, there's roughly around 3,400 active listings on the market. 1,800 of those are in general occupied by the owner, but there are 453 active listings right now in the marketplace that are tenanted properties, and we're starting to see trends of increased tenant properties on the marketplace. And so the chances you're going to come across a tenanted property and look to buy is going to be greatly impacted. And so you're going to want to make sure you know these rules and the overall impact of these legislation and rule changes, because it's going to change the trajectory of what you're looking to do in the real estate market, how you're going to buy, how you're going to structure the dates there on it. So we're going to go break down the rules, what's changing in the real estate market in July 18th, and how it's going to impact both the seller and buyers. All right, and if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I do have a weekly email where I go over information like this every week, and I can get that into your inbox every Wednesday. So drop in the link below in the link tree. There's going to be a link to the weekly email. Make sure you sign up for it so you don't miss out on future and different changes that's going to happen in the real estate market. And if you do like this, we are putting out videos every week on every Thursday. Sometimes we're going to do real estate statistics. Sometimes it's going to be property tours. Sometimes it's going to be big legislation changes like we're seeing today. And so if you do have more information, what you want to see and what you're interested in, please let me know in the comments and reach out. I'd love to create content and for what you guys want to. So I definitely appreciate. Hey everybody, it's Mark Coons here. I'm with Selling Kelowna Real Estate Group, co-founder and CEO of the company. And what we're looking to do is a real estate market information. So if you're looking to buy, sell, invest, anything in the real estate market, give us a call, pick up that phone, email us, whatever you need to do. We're available on all the channels. So just let us know and we'd love to help you out. So just jumping right into it, even if you're not considering purchasing an investment property as a rental and having tenants, there's going to be opportunities in this real estate market where it's increasing that if you're buying in the real estate market, you're going to come across one of these situations more than likely, because if a home is tenanted, the rules have changed and they will be changing as of July 18th of 2024. And they're going to be changing to benefit the tenants. And don't get me wrong, I think, there's a lot of bad things happening to tenants. So all these rules are coming from a good heart and a good place to protect the tenants and to protect the tenants' rights, which in my opinion is also very important. But there is nobody really protecting the landlords. So being a landlord right now in British Columbia is the toughest it's ever been. And now as of July 18th, it's going to get tougher. So these are factors if you're selling a property, you're going to need to definitely consider that is tenanted. Or even if you're living in a property and it's going to be vacant for a little bit and you might put tenants in here are some things that you're going to have to consider in terms of timeframes and budgeting and everything like that, and to help you make a decision. And buyers, on the other hand, you're going to want to make sure you're structuring offers properly so you're not left out in the cold and you're still remaining in control, in the driver's seats, in the negotiations, and knowing the time frame and hitting the time frames so you're not left homeless for a month or two, depending on the situation. So knowing the rules is not the first part. So the key changes, what we're looking over, and we're not going to get into, there's some other changes where there's transparency, where you need to upload information to the app, and there's an online portal what landlords will have to do. We're going to skip over all of that, and we're just going to go directly to the big changes that are going to affect the resale and buyer side of the real estate market, because that's more than likely what you're coming across. If you do want more information, there's lots of information. We can give you all the links to additional information on the Government of British Columbia's website, where they do break it down, and contact the RTB, and they'll be able to help you through any of your questions. So this isn't meant to be legal advice or tenant advice. This is just to give you knowledge on what's being implemented out there, and maybe some ways to go around it. So make sure you're structuring it in a right way. And you'll definitely want to get legal advice ahead of time if you do have a tenant occupied property. And if the tenants aren't willing to work with you, oftentimes it might be a good time just to make sure you know your rights, so you're working within it ahead of time. So the biggest impact that's going to happen right now is the extended notice period. So there's two parts to this extended notice period. Is the first part of the extended notice period is it's taking the notice to end tenancy from what was previously 2 months. It's now doubling that and putting it to 4 months. So how that's going to impact you as a home seller is you're going to have to factor in about another 2 months of potentially vacant property and factor that into the completion dates on your property. So you can give proper notice at the end of the month and then giving the completion dates on it. And there will be more, there is a caveat to that as well. And we'll get into that a little bit later with one of the next changes on it and what to consider with regards to it. The 4 months notice to the buyer is really going to impact you in a sense that you're going to also have to be on the other side of negotiating longer close periods. You know, the one other change that they did do is the occupancy requirement or the notice to dispute timeframe. So the notice to dispute timeframe has changed from 15 days to 30 days. So there is an opportunity for a tenant now, as of July 18th, to be able to dispute an eviction another 15 days additional, which is going to extend everything out and the unknown and create everybody in limbo for another 2 weeks. So as a home seller, you're going to have to factor that extra 15 days into when you can give notice. And if you're negotiating an offer on the first of the month, and then it's going to go firm by the kind of the middle of the month, you still have to give 30 days before comfortability wise. So you're probably going to have to go about 4.5, 5 months completion date out from the original from the date of the contract written to be able to satisfy your tenant obligations and save you some potential future headaches. As a buyer, structuring the offer depending on when you're giving an offer and when you're doing subject removal. If you're doing a subject removal, it'd be best to have a subject removal right before the end of the month if you do want to get in sooner. If you're okay waiting another month or two, just to factor in if there are opportunities for a dispute resolution or dispute and that sort of thing, it's just going to make and keep you in the driver's seat and make you sure you're prepared to it. If you're a buyer purchasing a rental property, but you have a property to sell, a good opportunity right now is you want to make sure you're also protected on the sale. So in your contract, you should almost have an ability, depending on if you're moving provinces or not. And if you're really trying to avoid to be homeless type of situation, where if there is a dispute, now you have to give up possession on your home and you're not getting possession for another month because of this Tenancy Act, that's something you're going to have to consider into it. So building those clauses into the contract on the sale of your property is a good way to potentially alleviate some of it. There might be some pros and cons. You definitely want to get some legal advice on each different option and what's the best option for you and personalized advice. But there are more ways you need to, as a home buyer and seller, protect your butts in contract purchases and sales that are involving tenants. The next part of the changes are just changing the occupancy terms. It's moving to needing to obtain occupancy for personal use for up to a year. So previously it was 6 months, so that's doubled. This isn't, in my opinion, a bad change. Obviously, there's going to be some wrongful evictions and reasons why this legislation is coming up. So I think this is one of the stronger parts to the tenancy changes. Just alleviating and making sure people are holding true to their moving in as a principal residence and not trying to skirt the system as maybe it was done prior. And another big change is penalties are increasing. So if you breach any of these ones, the penalties are increasing to 1 year's worth of rent. So this is where I think tenants might be trying to take advantage of some sellers. And if you don't do everything by the book, and that's why we're saying get legal advice through every step of the transition, because you want to make sure you're dialed in, because you don't want to be responsible for a year's worth of rent to your tenant. Because if they can take advantage of you, there's a good opportunity. Not saying everybody will. There's some great tenants out there, some lovely people. And this is not to put all tenants in the same box, but if somebody can get another year's worth of rent out of somebody for little amount of pain and getting them through it, there's no telling how far somebody will go for that little bit amount of money, especially in today's society where we're experiencing high cost of living. Everybody's pinching pennies. And so they're going to potentially, maybe they're in a tough spot and they're going to try and take advantage of all different situations. And so it's just making sure everything's done by the book and make sure you get that proper legal advice. All right, so that's all I had for you this week here. But so those are information that is impacting home buyers and sellers in the real estate market right now in British Columbia. So if you do have questions on it, reach out, give me a call, email us, whatever you need to do. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future videos of living in Kelowna. Let me know in the comments, what do you want to hear more of? What kind of videos do you want so I can help produce more of that for you and help me help you.